The Red Sox search for a GM is heating up, and at the forefront right now is a former Red Sox World Series winner. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Sea Radio. My name is Corbin. There's been one name that has popped up in the Red Sox GM front office search over the last couple of days that has caught a lot of people by surprise, because this is someone who has spent significant time with the Red Sox as a player, won one World Series, and is technically credited with 2 World Series rings. He is a guy who over the last couple of days has really made headway to be a top candidate for the Boston Red Sox in their search for a GM / front office executive. So what we are going to do in today's video is we're going to break down who this person is. We're going to talk about why the Red Sox are interested in possibly bringing him on to be the head of baseball operations. We're going to be talking about some benefits to him being here, maybe some drawbacks to him being here, and ultimately we're going to talk about what the likelihood of the Red Sox going this route could be. But before we get into that, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. Helps these videos out a ton, and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. The former player that is currently making waves and headway to be the top candidate for the Boston Red Sox is a guy by the name of Craig Breslow, who, for those of you who may not remember, Craig was a big part of the 2013 Red Sox, at least during the regular season, as a bullpen arm. Now, obviously, the postseason was a bit of a different story, but he did have a big role in the 2013 Red Sox. He also technically has a ring from 2007, where he was on the Red Sox playoff roster, but did not see a single inning in that playoff run. So technically 2 World Series with the Red Sox, but was really a big part of only one. Now, for those of you who may not know, Craig Breslo retired in 2017 with a pretty decent career. He finished his career with a 3.45 ERA and a 1.22 ERA plus, about 22% above league average production. Pretty solid career from Craig Breslow. He was then fairly quickly recruited by Theo Epstein, who was a longtime Red Sox GM, to join the Cubs front office in 2019. From there, he worked his way up promotion by promotion to get to where he is today, which is the assistant GM of the Chicago Cubs, as well as a senior vice president of pitching. So why are we talking to Breslow? How has he been connected to the Boston Red Sox? Well, an article came out last night in The Athletic by one Patrick Mooney, where he had a really interesting sentence in an article about Craig Breslow's candidacy for the Boston Red Sox. The sentence reads, quote, "Breslow has been in advanced discussions with the Red Sox, according to sources familiar with the search process, interviewing for their #1 job in baseball operations." This is some really interesting phrasing, because it's the first time we've seen the words advanced talks connected to any single one candidate. Since the start of the Red Sox GM search, really the only thing we've gotten is, oh yeah, they've interviewed. Yes, the Red Sox are interested. We haven't heard anything about advanced talks. And right now, Craig Breslow is the only one who that phrasing has been connected to. So yes, it's only one sentence from someone who is a beat reporter for the Chicago Cubs, but it could be a really important one. But why are the Red Sox looking at Craig Breslow? Why are the terms advanced talks connected to his name? Well, there are a couple of easy answers as to why he may have a connection to the front office. The first is that commute-wise, right? A lot of the reasoning for Red Sox candidates to back out, whether it's legitimate or not, has been, we don't want to relocate our family. Craig Breslow currently lives in Newton, Massachusetts, which, for those of you who are outside of the New England area, is about 20 minutes outside of Boston, meaning that if he were to take this job, he wouldn't have to relocate anything. In fact, he was relocating for the Chicago Cubs. This would be coming home. That completely negates the sort of excuse, if you will, of, hey, we don't want to uproot our family for this position. So it makes sense to look at him that way. The other easy answer to this question is because he obviously has ties to the Boston Red Sox, right? He spent a pretty decent amount of time in the Red Sox organization. He played with the Red Sox in 2006 and was a part of the roster in 2007, which means he played with Alex Cora and has a relationship already with Alex Cora. He knows some of the people in the organization that could be in those top positions, which has been a bit of a contention point for a lot of GM candidates, right? He knows Eddie Romero because Eddie Romero's been here for a while, and he knows a lot of the people connected with the Boston Red Sox, which means a lot of the issues that we've been seeing facing a lot of these candidates and having them come in and play ball with what the Red Sox already set up could be a bit of an easier transition for Craig, who already has a predetermined relationship. But But there's a little bit more of a tricky answer to this, a more in-depth answer to this question as to why the Red Sox may be looking at Craig Breslow, because on the surface, he doesn't have any experience with being the head of a front office. And while that is technically true, he has not been the head of a front office for an organization ever in his career. That doesn't mean he doesn't have any experience with what it takes to do that. When he was recruited by Theo Epstein, Theo essentially wanted to give him the opportunity to see every part of a baseball operation. He allowed him to float essentially from area to area and get a real feel for what it's like to be at the head of baseball operations before allowing him to choose which part of the organization he wanted to focus on. Obviously, Craig, being the pitcher that he was, focused on pitching and development, but he does have experience from day to day. On top of that, when you look at what his duties are, which were laid out in the same article by Patrick Mooney, there is some similarities between what he was doing there and what he would be doing as the head of baseball operations with the Red Sox. One of his big duties was evaluating pitching free agents, which, hey, the Red Sox could use some of that right now, right? They clearly need a pitching free agent splurge a little bit. Could Craig Breslow come in and be the right guy to evaluate that talent? On top of that, he was also closely linked to the day-to-day 40-man roster operation, specifically with the pitching staff. So evaluating the talent he has on the current 40-man roster, making DFAs, making small waiver claims and stuff like that was part of his role. And on top of that too, he oversaw essentially an overhaul of the Chicago Cubs pitching and pitching development system. He was a major factor in the Chicago Cubs signing and acquiring Marcus Stroman, who has been great for them. He's a big reason why Justin Steele had a breakout this year and is an NL Cy Young candidate. On top of that too, he helped draft guys like Jordan Wicks, who is one of the top pitching prospects in baseball, who made his debut this year, and Cade Horton, who is also one of the top pitching prospects in Major League Baseball. He's done a lot of great things within the Chicago Cubs organization, and that's just the pitching side of things, right? That's just the pitching and development sort of things. He also had his hand in some of these bigger free agent pitching signings, which again could be a perfect link to the Boston Red Sox. But on top of that as well, Craig Breslow is one of the smartest men in all of baseball. During his playing days, there were two separate writers who wrote about Craig Breslow's intelligence. One of them said he's the smartest man in all of baseball. The other one said he's the smartest player to ever play the game. That's a huge, huge honor to be bestowed on Craig Breslow, and there's reasons for that, right? First of all, he went to college at Yale. He played baseball at Yale, and during his time there, he got two separate degrees, one in biophysics and the other in biochemistry. On top of just being a smart Yale student, during his playing days, Craig Breslow would utilize analytics in a way that was far advanced for his time. Craig Breslow was never the tallest, he was never the fastest thrower, so he had to get creative with the ways he was getting players out. And for him, going to advanced analytics and utilizing the iPad, which I know some of you guys really dislike, really prolonged his career and allowed him to finish the way he finished, which was 22% above league average at the time of his retirement, right? Analytics was a big reason why Craig Breslow was able to be a successful pitcher in Major League Baseball, and it goes to show you just how smart of a person Craig Breslow is. So while he may not have the true experience as a head of baseball operations, he does have experience with some of the factors that would go into being the head of baseball operations. And again, he's one of the smartest people in baseball, so the transition may be a little bit easier for him than it would be for someone else. But at the end of the day, there are some drawbacks for the Red Sox being interested in Craig. Obviously, the biggest one is, yes, he may have some experience, but he doesn't have experience as a chief baseball operator. He doesn't understand what it's like to have essentially an entire system's baseball infrastructure at his fingertips and having that pressure of being able to control it and build it up and be that sort of figurehead for an organization like someone else may have. And on top of that too, when you're really, really smart, you tend to be really methodical. And we've seen sort of how that works out in Boston over the last couple of years, right? Chaim Bloom was one of the smartest people in baseball, but he was ultra methodical, and what that ended up leading to was overthinking, and it ended up leading to a lot of missed opportunities, and that's a big fear or concern when we're talking about Craig Breslow in the front office. To be honest with you, I'm not entirely sure what he would look like in the role of a chief baseball operator because we have no idea. We do have some sort of precedent set by the Texas Rangers current GM, who did have a similar path to what Craig Breslow would be doing if he came over to Boston, right? The GM of the Texas Rangers spent 13 years in Major League Baseball. baseball before very quickly becoming the GM of the Texas Rangers. And look at where they are right now, right? They're up 2-1 against the Houston Astros in the ALCS, fighting for a World Series, while the Red Sox finished their season October 1st, right? So there could be some merit to Craig Breslow coming over, but we honestly aren't going to know until he's either taken over or the Red Sox pass on him. But I do think he's fully capable of getting the job done, and I think the Red Sox believe that too, as again, this is the first candidate we have seen for the Red Sox front office role, whether that's GM or head of baseball operations, and it makes sense that it's Craig. Now, in my opinion, I'm actually kind of excited about this. I think this could be a really, really interesting opportunity for the Red Sox. I think if they go into 2024 with Craig Breslow as baseball operations and Eddie Romero as the GM, it could be the perfect marriage of opportunity for the Red Sox in a big offseason. Craig Breslow is methodical, he's smart, he's played the game, he understands what it takes to win, and Eddie has been with the organization for a very long period of time. He has that relationship with everyone there, and from everything we have read about how Eddie Romero feels going into 2024, he wants to make a big splash and he wants the Red Sox to win. That could be the perfect marriage combination for the Red Sox and set them on the right path. So in my opinion, I'm kind of excited about this. I'm just not sure how it would work, but that's just my opinion. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you think? What do you think about the words advanced talks being tied to Craig Breslow? What do you think about Craig Breslow in general, kind of coming over and being a first-time head of baseball operations? Are you in? Are you out? What would it take for you to get excited about this? Let me know all your thoughts on a former Red Sox World Series winner taking over the Red Sox front office. Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you hit that subscribe and that like button. If you made it to the end here, you might as well hit both. We talk Red Sox content almost every single day, and it would help this video out a ton. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the Red Seats.